Welcome to the latest edition of Shooting the Bull here on Spotify, the official podcast of the Worcester Bulls in the American Hockey League. Team on the rise. We'll talk more about that in a moment. We got Noah Zeiman and Jacob Baxter, two of the newer players on the team, joining us. Bulls taking on Iron City Forge Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, just as they did 2 weeks ago over in Pittsburgh. Reminder, we're collecting for Presley's Purpose, as well as having a jersey raffle this weekend, so be sure to get out early for those. I'll start with you, Jacob. Coming into the team a little bit late, you come in as a defenseman, and it's a team that's had a pretty good record defensively, even against Ridgetown. How did you see your role in terms of stepping into the team after the season started?
I'd say biggest thing was getting told that we need to be more physical. And I played that role of I'm not afraid to fight. I'm not afraid to hit somebody. That and being a bigger person, I can put body on the line to block a shot. And we needed that a lot more.
For you, Noah, you're playing on the wing. You've contributed a little bit. How did you see your role in terms of what you're going to bring to this team?
So really, when I got offered to come play, I didn't really care where I came to be in the lineup. I just knew that I wanted to win, and I didn't really care where coach put me. So really, throughout my career, I've always been a depth kind of guy, someone who likes to hit, someone who likes to block shots too. But that's the rule that I had in mind coming into this team, that I was going to be a depth guy and someone who likes to use the body a lot.
Yeah, it kind of fits on with Jacob's doing. In terms of coming into the team, I'll start with you, Jacob, and then you can just follow up when he's done, Noah. What was the biggest thing in terms of getting into the team and your transition? What was the biggest factor in making sure getting yourself comfortable and acclimated with not just the players, but also the way you play?
I'd say the biggest thing from the league I came from was I'd say more skill-wise. Coming from the MIHL, they're not really the most skilled. They're more of a physical game. So I think Noah can agree on that one since he played in the same league. That the biggest thing was being more of a bigger body with this team, because you got to take speed away from guys. You got to fill a role that sometimes you don't want to be that guy, but that's what coach tells you. You got to be that guy.
I think the MIHL was more physical as well. There was skill though too, but more physical.
So do you find now, Jacob, in your case, you said you're a bigger guy defenseman. We've seen more of a trend in all levels of pro hockey for bigger forwards, especially wingers. Have you always played as a defenseman, or did you have some chance to play up front at any time growing up and going through youth hockey?
In youth hockey, I started out as a goalie, and then I switched real quick to D once I got hurt. I got in a car accident, and then going through luckily didn't have to get surgeries done or nothing. But once I healed up from that, I was like, I want to be a defenseman or a forward. So I trained with TPH in Huntsville, and at some point I was like, all right, time to be a defenseman. I got called to go to Alpena last year, played 12 games at the end of the season, started in 8 of them. And it's probably some of the best stories around with some of the guys, just the road trips, because you don't really have a team bus. So you're going with guys that you've never met before. So it's more of a reality check than anything.
Yeah, that's a little unusual, starting out as a goaltender and then moving out to be a skater. Normally, it's the other way around, whether it be hockey or football/soccer. Noah, you talked about the physicality. Is that something you've always had as one of your part of your skill set?
Definitely. Growing up, I mean, I was always I'm very short, so it's like I was never the fastest either. So it's like physicality and just, I don't know, growing up too, it's always like I've always liked the hitting and all the body to body, the going to battles and the doing battles in the corner, the boards, all that. But definitely, yeah, always.
On the subject of growing up and getting more personal, as Ben talked about, Jacob, how and where did you get started playing hockey, and what made you realize, hey, yeah, this is definitely a game for me?
So I first time I put skates when I was probably around 3, and I had an uncle that played, and he was in Maryland. So I started out in Maryland for a little bit, and then played junior hockey in Canada for in the CPGH out Smith Falls and C4 Generals in Ontario. Then went from there to go play in Long Beach, California for my first year as a overager going in at 20. That was fun. Now I'm 22 and playing in Worcester. So it's a bigger difference than anything. So it's fun to get around the guys though.
Yeah, going from coast to coast, you covered a pretty good percentage of the map. What about you, Noah?
I had neighbors. They were they were way younger than me. They were probably like 5 and 6 years younger than me. Their dad would always like tell them like to get better. You got to do this. You gotta shoot pucks. You gotta go outside. You got to do this and that. And every day it's just I didn't really have a father presence growing up, so I really took from him. And I basically grew up with these neighbors, and hockey was their like main priority, and that's how I got into hockey. Pretty much was through my neighbors. I started skating at 3, and then I skated till I was 4, and then realistically, I stopped skating for a little bit. I was more of a multi-athlete kind of guy. I went into gymnastics actually and did that for about 5 to 6 years because of my twin sister actually. And growing up, you've always wanted to be like better, and you wanted to grow as like a pair and like siblings and all that. But you also wanted to be better also too. So I wanted to do gymnastics, and I really loved it. But then I missed hockey, so I got back into skating again when I was 11. And then I've been at this one rink by me, Lakeland Ice Arena in Waterford, Michigan. I've been there most of my life. It's been my home rink. Actually, Dylan Larkin, the captain of the Red Wings, that's his home rink too. So it's pretty amazing to share that rink with him. But I played for the Hawks, Lakeland Hawks, when I was younger. Played, and then I played varsity hockey for West Bloomfield High School. And then again, we've always played at Lakeland Ice Arena, so it's been pretty amazing. And then I didn't play a lot, but I played 1 year at West D3 for the Western Stallions. And then I played, was it a couple games for when they were called the Gaylord Snow. And then I took a little break, realistically, just to take a break. And then this year I joined in the MIHL, the Sheboygan Wendigo, and that was experience. But then Worcester definitely has been the highlight of my year so far, and it definitely continues to be a highlight for sure.
I'll get back here on the gymnastics stuff in a moment, Noah, but you bring up with that for you, Jacob, what other sports did you play when you were growing up?
Well, I'm an actual really good golfer, so I golfed a lot in high school and middle school.
That's common for hockey players.
I was a really good baseball player, so I played baseball. And then my dad used to play semi-pro soccer, so played a little bit of soccer growing up, but didn't like it. I led the league in most red cards and yellow cards, so that's not the sport for me.
Yeah, as I say, that kind of goes with being a defenseman.
Yeah.
So who did your dad play for?
So he did a little bit with Columbus's team, and then he did arena football in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. So what? Because I'm there. I've been done a lot of semi-pro and indoor soccer stuff. So I'm trying to think. Maybe I know him from someplace. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the soccer stuff. Speaking of which, going back to Noah, Alexi Lalas is from that area up there, Oakland County. He played hockey as well as soccer. Doesn't
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he played in high school, was decent at it, better at soccer as it turned out. As far as the gymnastics is concerned, do you think that helped you with hockey? Because let's say you're a gymnast, you got to have the legs. It's like a little bit like you said, Jacob, like playing golf. You got to have good legs for doing that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think gymnastics always helped me with everything. I always say I'm athletic because I was a gymnast. So, I really thank my sister and gymnastics for that, because without that, I don't know where I'd be.
This is the Shooting the Bull podcast here on Spotify, official podcast of the Worcester Bulls of the American Premier Hockey League. Noah Zeiman and Jacob Baxter joining us. Ben Ick is handling all the technical aspects. Again, Bulls are going to be playing Saturday and Sunday against the Iron City Forge team they just swept a couple of weeks ago to put themselves in third place in the Eastern Division and in a playoff place right now. Even though you joined the team a little bit later, you're obviously in the midst of the playoff push. Jacob, what do you think is the biggest thing going forward, especially with all these back-to-back games you're going to be having in January and February?
I say the biggest thing is we have to lock in as together as a group and come together and play as a team, because biggest thing we have struggles sometimes where we want to play a little bit of selfish hockey. And if you look at the turnaround when we played Western Michigan a couple weeks ago, we struggled in getting in the box, and that's been one of our biggest problems, is getting penalties. But we came together and fought back. We won. Then we led with that momentum into, Iron City, and swept them last weekend. And we didn't even get many penalties in that. It was probably the first time all year, and it's a big thing to come in and see that the work you put in and see everyone coming together makes a difference.
In terms of those two games in Pittsburgh, Noah, quite a contrast. One pretty much going away 10-3 on Saturday night, and then had a defensive battle 3-1. What was the biggest difference in those two games in terms of how the scoring went?
Realistically, I think Saturday's game. Realistically, it was an away game. We traveled. I traveled, and I don't think the legs were quite there right off the bat. To be honest, I don't think they were there most of the game, but Saturday or Sunday's game definitely was a different game. I think we all kept composure. We knew what we needed to do, and realistically, we accomplished what we needed to do, and we came out with the victory.
I talked about the road trips, Jacob. Road trips can be tedious. I've been on too many of them to count. What are some of the favorite pastimes you guys, even though you're traveling by vehicles and not necessarily by a bus, but what are some of the pastimes that go on while you're doing these traveling, especially when you got the longer trips, because you got one coming up going up to Thousand Island toward the end of February?
I'd say my first road trip was with Star, rode with Star to Buffalo for 2 games. And I had my hometown buddy Gavin with me, and the whole time we were just talking, and I'd say it was probably some fun. And then we all roomed together in a little Red Roof Inn, and it was a bunch of team bonding happening. But I'd say like the biggest thing is like me and Noah, brand new guys to the team, and they welcomed us with open arms, and there was no guys hating on each other. It was just all open.
You kind of beat me to the next question I was going to ask, but I'll go with it anyway, Noah. As far as the acceptance that he talked about, I take it was a pretty smooth transition from everybody concerned when you joined the team when you did.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Everybody in that locker room, from top to bottom, coach, equipment staff, every player, it felt like it was home already, and it was insane how accepting everybody was, and it felt like I knew everybody for years and years and years, and it was amazing.
Going forward, let's say you still got a couple more sets with Iron City, both home and away. You'll have Buffalo coming in. In terms of the playoff push, Jacob, from a defensive standpoint, what do you see as some of the keys that need to be maintained defensively to keep this run going?
I'd say biggest keys is locking down on the penalty kill and not letting cross crease passes. Besides that, I'd say we got to crack down on our chances. There's a bunch of puck battles that we could have that sometimes we don't have. And at the end of the day, if we want to score, we got to, no one asks how it happened. It's just how many. You got to get the greasy goals. It doesn't need to be a highlight reel every time.
Noah both played all over the place. Jacob, I'll start with you. How have you been? How impressed have you been with the fan base and the fan support in Worcester? And then Noah, you could just go ahead and follow up on that when he's done.
I would say I noticed it pretty quick after our first set of home games. My first home game against Western Michigan, we lost, but seeing of how much they came back Sunday and being told that was probably one of our best crowds for a Sunday game. And just hearing that place jolt when we scored in the last minute of that game to win, of how loud and how supportive our fans actually are, of like nothing's better as a guy. Like we're playing out there. Sometimes we can't hear them, but I think everyone could feel it in their heart when they jumped when we scored that goal.
Then Noah, for you?
Just going off of what Jacob said, definitely we have the best fans in the league. You can hear them always from the ice and from the bench. You can definitely feel their presence and hear their presence for sure. And they're very loud, and it's truly amazing. Their support and everything about them.
Yeah, I've had a few people from other teams and people who have players that have parents coming in from out of town saying they've always been very impressed with how these fans have backed you. And again, as you said, Jacob, especially that Sunday, the second game against Western Michigan, after a subpar performance, they really came out and were behind you from the beginning, even when you were down, 8-6 at one point. They really stuck with you, or 6-4, I should say. And that, I think, was a big reason why you were able to get the 3 straight goals to come away with the win.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is like when our fans support, like it's not saying we're not playing well, but we're always play better when you got your fans being loud, because it makes their goalies nervous and makes them start fighting the puck. And I'd say, I don't know about Noah, but if you're playing in front of 10 fans, it's not fun just playing in front of parents, and like, it's youth hockey. We're not playing youth hockey no more, so it's kind of nice playing in front of like hundreds of fans. Like how in Huntsville, Alabama, they've had last year and the season before, they had 46 straight sellouts in a town that's known for football and rocket science. So I'd say like, even that, like when fans start embracing it of like, all right, let's support the team, like especially with the playoff push, we'll really need their help, especially with Buffalo coming here after PA. So I'd say biggest thing is having guys come support.
You're playing again against Iron City. They've lost 11 straight. Well, they've lost 8. They had to forfeit 3 games, but they're on a skid. You just beat them back to back. What do you see as being key for making sure that that complacency doesn't set in? You come out, especially on Saturday, right from the start with the right attitude and the right approach.
Basically, just after what you just said, we got to go in with the right attitude. We got to put the foot on the gas, and continue like how we've been playing Worcester hockey. We've been winning games. What are we? 4 games? 3 games?
3 straight.
3 straight, yeah,
Yes.
3 straight, and we just got to keep it going. Really, I mean, we're playing really good hockey. After that last Sunday game in Pittsburgh, I mean, we really locked down defensively, and realistically, we've been seeing what we need to do to be more defensively and how we're going to stop goals against.
Yeah, that was the first win that was really a low-scoring game. Before that, I think 6 goals was the fewest you had scored in a win. Jacob, you mentioned you'd played in California at one point. Anything out there that made you think, wait, this really isn't a hockey place compared to some of the places I've been, like on the East Coast?
I'd say like biggest stuff was like you didn't think you'd get like really of a fan crowd, and somehow we'd sell out every game because there's not really, unless you lived in Anaheim or San Diego or LA, you weren't going to see a pro game play. So playing juniors over there, there's that. And then whenever we did workouts, they were always on the beach, or like we started doing yoga as a team. There's times I was like, wow, like this is different than East Coast hockey or Northern hockey. So there's that. And then the biggest thing is like the difference of like sponsors here from sponsors over there. Like my billet dad there does all of Coachella's houses on property. Just builds all of them every year. So that was pretty cool.
That's
But
the
I'd
Coachella
say,
Music Festival you're referring to, right?
yeah.
So-
So he runs IMPE, and they make storage containers into buildings. So he does all of them for Coachella. And then right now he's building a school out of them. So that's pretty cool on him.
Yeah, hockey in California is a lot different since the Kings got that. What's that guy's name? Married an actress. I can't think of it. But yeah, but one of the stories I remember is people would come up to Wayne Gretzky, his first couple seasons, guys who actually played hockey, had been playing for a long time, and were saying, hey, because of you now, the game's so much popular, can't get ice time like we used to do. So it's definitely very different since that happened, but it's been one of the best things that's ever happened to the NHL. And speaking of the NHL, since I saw your sweatshirt, Noah, obviously ready for Milano Cortina d'Ampezzo with the Olympic Games coming on. Guess what? Although I know that's from the Four Nations last year. I know that. I recognize that. Have you seen John Hamm, the actor, has done some promos with the United States team, kind of jokingly mocking the normally more polite and reserved Canadians and what happened during the Four Nations between those two teams. How it got a little more physical, shall we say. But Noah, what are you looking for from the United States team once they get over to Milan?
Well, I mean, realistically, I think USA hockey in general has been a powerhouse for years and years and years, and I'm not saying anything bad about any other team. I mean, hockey is hockey, and any team, if you believe in yourself, definitely you can go anywhere in this world. And realistically, for USA, I mean, building off of the Four Nations, they're hungry for sure. I'm a big Red Wings fan, and Dylan Larkin's going to play for Team USA, and he's very excited, and I'm just a Detroit fan geek, and I'm excited for him, and I hope they win gold, to be honest. So.
Yeah, Dylan Larkin's still arguably the best skater in the NHL, maybe the world. It's ridiculous. Jacob, how do you see things going for the United States when they get to Milan next month?
Well, I'd like the U.S. to win, but I like Canada to win more. It'd be like a repeat of the Four Nations. You give McDavid 5 seconds in the slot, I guarantee you 5 out of 9 shots are going in every time.
His hands are ridiculous.
Yeah. I'd say like biggest thing the U.S. needs to do is they can even fight off like what just happened with the World Juniors. USA and Canada weren't even in a first place game. So you have both these teams that are major dogs in a Olympic game, but they just both had their younger teams lose, the teams that shouldn't have beat them. So I think like biggest thing is like you have Dylan Larkin, he actually has to play. You can't sleep around. So you got that, and I'd say the biggest thing for USA to beat Canada, you have to shut down their biggest guys. So you got McDavid, you have Drysdale with Germany. Like you have to shut him down. You have to shut Tom Wilson down, and he'll hit any guy in his way. So that's the biggest stuff.
Yeah, Wilson asks no quarter and gives none. We've seen that for a long, long time with the Washington Capitals. Yeah, and Draisaitl just became, just went over 1,000 points for his career just a few weeks ago. In terms of a skill, Noah, when you see the other guys on the team, or guys you watching NHL, who's got the one thing going for him makes you wish, hey, I wish I could do that?
So growing up, my idol has always been Ovechkin. I'm from Russia actually, so I came to the U.S. when I was a year old. I was born in Russia. I was adopted from Russia, and Ovechkin has just been my idol ever since I knew how to play hockey. That's why my number has mostly always been 8. I'm a right-handed shot, and I wish I was a shooter. I wish I could shoot the puck like Ovechkin, but it's definitely, I wish, like scoring and Ovechkin for sure. It's, yeah.
And what about you, Jacob? Who's somebody when you were growing up? Who's somebody, especially since it was from what you said earlier, obviously early on in your playing days, it was obvious you were good. Once you got out of being a goalie, it was obvious you're going to be a defenseman. Who did you watch in the NHL that you said, yeah, I want to try to emulate that kind of style?
I'd say as a goalie, probably Ron Hextall. Okay, he was a bigger guy and could make saves, but also do stuff to get in guys' heads. But
Yeah,
then
he was one of the leaders of the vanguard of the big goaltenders we see now. I mean, average size of a goaltender in the NHL now is 6'3". You don't see any Darren Pangs out there anymore.
Mm-mm.
But what about as far as once you became a defenseman?
I'd say Zdeno Chara, having a bigger shot and a bigger guy and be able to play physical and known as that guy that I'm one of the bigger guys out there. I'm having guys trying to take my head off every night. But being able to reverse a head or score a goal when your team needs it and be a leader, just like Zdeno was his whole career.
Yeah, Chara. Nobody tried to take off Chara's head, because first of all, it's too high up. Number one, yeah. Number two, not an advisable idea. Zdeno Chara just had his number retired by the Boston Bruins last week. As a matter of fact, truly great player. One of the keys to their Stanley Cup wins. I'm Keith Kokinda. This is the Shooting the Bull podcast here on Spotify. Thanks, Ben Ickes, for handling all the technical aspects of everything. Noah Zeiman and Jacob Baxter are our guests, 2 of the newer players to the Bulls. They'll be taking on Iron City Forge at the Alice Noble Ice Arena Saturday night, 7:30. Sunday afternoon, 1:30. Again, we'll be collecting for Presley's Purpose, as well as having a jersey raffle this weekend. So a lot of things going on. Also, we'll have the 50-50 raffle at both games as well. We certainly look forward to seeing you there. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Worcester Bulls Hockey. Check that out there. We'll have links. We have links to all of our podcasts, as well as having them posted on Spotify. Use the hashtags Bulltown Hockey, Worcester Born, and Orange Army when you're there. Also, remember our live YouTube channel. We'll have both games this weekend live, and all the previous games are archived on there as well. One last thing, Jacob, talk about road trips. What's the funniest thing you've seen happen on one of your road trips? And then Noah, you could follow up with yours as well.
Starting in Worcester, probably a guy forgetting his shoulder pads and us giving him as many hoodies as we could to give him some shoulder pads. That was probably an ideal here, but say biggest thing was probably when I played in Seaforth, we had a team bus and we were playing in Maniwaki and we swept them, and their fans, it was a native land on a res, they decided to slash their tires. So we had to wait 2 hours for 2 12-people vans to come take us to the hotel. And our bus was still there 3 days later trying to get some tires.
Yeah, bus tires aren't easy to find. Noah, what about you? What's a funny road trip story you can tell us?
It wasn't wasn't too funny, but it was during my high school days. We took a bus to I forgot where it was. I think like up in the UP in Michigan, but they forgot 2 hockey bags, like gear, of my teammates, and that was not fun. So
If forgetting things, I've done that a few times for road trips too. It's never always have to adapt, but yeah. Noah Zeiman, Noah Zeiman, Jacob Baxter. Thanks very much for joining us here tonight. We appreciate it. Again, all the previous episodes of the Shooting the Bull podcast are available here on Spotify. And again, make sure if you're not in Worcester, check us out when the Bulls take on the Iron City Forge Saturday night at 7:30 and Sunday afternoon at 1:30. We'll have those live on our YouTube channel from the Alice Noble Ice Arena. Ben Ickes, again, thank you as always for getting things set up here for the Shooting the Bull podcast. And we will catch you next time here on Spotify. I'm Keith Kokinda. We'll see you Saturday and Sunday in Alice Noble Ice Arena.
Noah, are you drinking milk over there?
yeah,
Just a gallon of milk?
yeah,
What
Again, milk's a good recovery drink for the protein.
exactly.
I don't think I've ever seen someone just have a gallon of milk next to them.
Never.
I've had gallon of water bottles next to me, not milk.